Hi guys, Dave here for Dave Outdoors. Thanks for tuning in. I'm just out here in the bush today, just foraging around a little bit. I'm looking for supplejack. I'd just like to share that with you. This is supplejack right here. These intertwined vines that you find in many of the forested areas of New Zealand. They can grow very, very dense. It's almost like impenetrable jungle in some places where these things are growing. They come out of the ground, they twist around each other, they twist around all the trees in their competition to try and get to the top of the canopy and get to that sunlight. Now, at the end of these vines are shoots that are edible. I've seen some about 2 inches long, some about 12 inches long. You probably get them longer, I don't know. But they're usually at the top of the canopy. That's where I think most of them are. So down here on the ground, trying to find these edible shoots, I'm quite new to this, but I've actually found it quite difficult. Some of you guys who are out there who have no tricks of the trade or are a little bit better at finding these things, if you could drop a comment down below and share them with everybody else, that would be good. Because I'd certainly like to come out more and get more adept at finding them. But I'll keep going out there today and see what I can find. Here's one here. The stalk at its thickest point is about as thick as my index finger, a little bit thicker than that. The edible portion is this piece right here, right at the tip. It goes right down to this first knuckle or this first joint, then down to a second one. So it's possible, might be able to get a meal out of that whole thing, and even down to the third one. It's still quite flexible down there. Might be able to get a meal out of that one as well. This took about 20 minutes just to find this single one. Someone who's a lot more experienced than me would probably have a less of a harder time trying to find them. In a bush foraging situation, just look for something to supplement my meal, yeah, I'd have a hunt around for them. In a survival situation though, I really don't know if this is going to give me back the carbohydrates and the calories that I expended looking for it. So in a survival situation, I guess I would probably just circle my camp, having an easy look for it, and if I couldn't find them, then I'd probably go back to camp and just conserve the calories. Here's the second one I found. So 25 to 35 minutes of hunting for it, I found two. This one here is much thinner than the first one I found. I'd say the thickness of the stalk is about my little finger. Very nice and flexible and quite long. It's very brown up to about this point. Up to about here, it's quite brown and stalky. Then it gets really flexible there and quite green. So this is the part I'd be looking for. Just broken it off, just below the, just above the second joint or the second knuckle there. There's a small one here, and then the other one was there. Probably a bit more edible portion there. Might just take that as well and see how far down we can go. So that's what I'm getting, those two there, out of that one stalk. Okay, so here we go. We'll try one out. You can eat these raw, or you can boil them, and I think you can even roast them. Peel all the bark off, and you're just left with that fleshy center on the inside. Oh yeah. Top part peels off quite easily. The rest of it is not so easy. Just eat the top part. I'll be here all day. And take the very tip off. It just looks like some like leafy shoots coming off there. So I've got that much there. I'm going to try out. Not bad, actually. Not a bad taste. Kind of tastes like tree, you know. But it's not a bad taste. Sort of like a, to me, it's got sort of a mineral sort of taste in the back of the tongue. I've heard this be described like asparagus. But yeah, it's not too bad. It's not too bad at all. It's really hard getting this bark off. I don't really know if you really have to get all of it off. After a while peeling the bark, you just end up taking the flesh away. So I'll have a go at eating the whole thing. Hopefully not get poisoned. Yeah, it's not too bad. It's not bad. Pulling the bark off does pull the flesh off, and you don't really get a big feed out of it, so I'm thinking the more of the flesh you leave on it, the better it is for you, the more carbs you're going to get out of it. Quite juicy, so lots of water in it. It was quite a long shoot. That's the extra bit I got there. That was right down by the woody part of the plant, of the vine, and then it came out about that much further. So I'm going to get down to the base of it where I broke it off the woody part and see how big a feed is down that end. The inside is green, that's the part you're after. Get that knuckle off. Rub it on the trowel. I'm going to wash those later. Wow, okay. Reasonably impressed. Still all quite meaty down there. Yeah. It's good eating. All the way along that entire length, it's good eating. So, a bit more meat on it than I thought. Still, as I was saying before, I don't know what the carb replacements will be, or the calorie replacements, what have you. But it's starting to peel this bark now. But it is a feed. Might stop the hunger pangs. But again, I think it really depends on how much calorie expenditure you put out trying to find it. Will you get it back? And in a survival situation, you really got to weigh it up. Then you got to make a judgment call. I'm still practicing learning about this sort of stuff, so I'm really happy I was able to share it here. I'm going to keep going out there and keep practicing looking for these things. But in my survival bag, or my hiking kit, which I carry on my day hikes, I got food in there. In the survival situation, that's what I want. I don't want to try and Rambo it. I think most people don't make it. Or need to end up getting rescued. So yeah, I would carry food, but I'm glad I learned how to find these things. So thanks for tuning in, guys. See you next one.